Hello friends! So excited to be bringing you another video. Today I am doing a Fangirls Rambling and I am so excited because today's book is a nonfiction! Woot woot! Yes, must have a small little dance party for that because it was really exciting. Usually I don't read nonfiction and this one I guess would be sort of like an inspirational nonfiction. It is by Annie Louise Twitchell. I hope I'm saying her last name right. She and a few of the authors came together and they basically wrote love letters to writers. I really love the feel of this cover. It definitely captures the love letter theme that they were going for. That theme was, as I said earlier, it's like love letters to writers. So it's just to encourage and inspire writers to keep writing, keep going, don't give up. I think this book really captured that very well. I say that because I learned quite a few different things about myself as a writer. One of them being, I am a writer. For me personally, I feel like that's a little bit of a no-brainer. Like, yes, I am a writer. I've been writing on and off for the past few years. Definitely a lot of struggles that I've endured while trying to learn how to write and just write. However, as one of the letters or the poetry that pointed out in this book, you will always come back to writing. It's sort of like what I've heard people say when they get tattoos, you simply just can't get one. I feel like writing is the same kind of premise. You can't just write one story and then you're done. Maybe for some people, that probably could be very much true. In my case, I feel like that is totally not true. Yet, as another letter said, I have not been one of those writers to be like, oh, I'm a writer, hello. No, it's more like, hey, I'm a book blogger, I support all the books, and then if I feel like it or if I'm inspired, then I'll go write. I realized too, which I'm just so thankful that I had the opportunity to read this book, because I also realized it's okay if I want to write when I'm inspired. Like, I don't have to write a certain way every day, or every other day, or whenever day. I don't have to write a certain way. I can do what I feel is comfortable, what works for me, and still be called a writer. There was one letter that talked about feeling like a fake, and I was like, oh, I can relate to that. Because some days I do feel like there's a writer because I'm not writing every day because I haven't produced like a whole bunch of books already. Yet the first day that I started this book, that night I stopped reading, I was like, you know what? I feel really inspired to write. And I went and I finished my book. Yay! That was really exciting for me because I just felt inspired. At first when I was reading, I was like, man, I don't know if this book's for me. I'm like not really a big writer. This doesn't feel like I should be reading it because it's not geared towards me. I'm glad I kept reading because yes, it was, Laura. Yes, it was. If you're a writer, it's geared towards you too. I totally need just a boost in confidence in saying that I'm a writer because like I said, I finished my book and realized that night, hey, you're a writer. You have finished 3 different books. That is something I never thought I would have ever accomplished. I really give kudos to these authors for sharing their poetry, which I learned another thing. I really love poetry. That was absolutely my favorite part of everything. There were certain letters that I really loved that resonated deeply with me, but man, those poems were just on fire. Really spoke to me and just felt like I should be snapping my fingers because it just so deeply hit me. Definitely off the top of my head, I can say that I love the one called Inkblood. I also love Muse. That was really good as well. There were some letters that I just thought were really beautifully poetic too, and how they were written. And then you have ones that I love. There was one of them that started off saying, writer, you are awesome, with a bunch of exclamation points. Yes, that was really cool. That made me excited because I love capturing that enthusiasm in my own writing and when supporting other authors. So I love that writer did that. I would definitely say if you're at a place where you're sort of unsure, should I call myself a writer? Because, when comparing to somebody else, you see them doing these things and you're like, well, I'm not doing that. This book really says, hey, claim you, do you, be you, keep going. Though I think I would have really loved to read this before now in my writing journey. I think it was perfect because I felt like I was sort of on the fence of wanting to really say I'm a writer, saying that, hey, I am trying to be an author. That's still very surreal to me. It's still surreal to know that this book is geared towards me too. It's one I feel like I would like to have in paperback just for those days. I'm like, man, I am really struggling and doubting if I want to keep doing this. Pick it up and just read through the poems, read through those letters, and be reminded and inspired and just refreshed to keep going despite, like one of the letters said, the stress sometimes of writing writing or the stress of not writing, because that's a thing too. With that said, I am participating in a blog tour today for this lovely book right here. If you're curious about what some of the other reviewers have said or just want to learn more about this book, totally check out my blog. I have a book snippet, got a book spotlight, got this video. It's a very encouraging, inspiring, motivational kind of story. Let me know in the comments if you're a writer or author and what you're working on. Hope you have a great weekend. Bye!